in mind. If you have food in your fridge, clothes on your body, a roof over your head, and a place to sleep, you're richer than 75% of people in the world. If you have money to spend as you wish and freedom to go anywhere you want, you're among the top 18% of the world's wealthiest people. Furthermore, if you're alive today with more health than illness, you're more blessed than 1 million people who will not survive this week. Lastly, if you can read and understand this message, you're more fortunate than the 3 billion people who cannot see, cannot read, and cannot access the knowledge and information that surrounds us. Life is not for complaining about pain and sorrows. It's about prioritizing the countless other reasons to be grateful and happy. In mind.
Well, hello, good afternoon in South Africa and the UK and everywhere like that. Good evening from China. How are you guys keeping? This is Pepe Zeka. My name's Andre and I'm back again after a break last week. Awesome to see all you people out there. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you ever so much. Let me try to get my chair right. But it's wonderful to see every single one of you guys. Let's take a look. Dylan Kumbrink, how are you keeping, my friend? Always good. Buzzy, thank you for everything you always do. Alts, I hope you're feeling better. Really good to see you as well. Hendo, our favorite European South African, how are you keeping, my friend? My wife, we've got to keep it clean. Debbie Murray, how is Colin doing? Our thoughts and our prayers are with him. Really, we are so pleased that he was blessed to actually have a greater hand over him. Not pleased that he was in the accident, but yes, we are thinking of him and praying for him, and definitely for the other staff members as well, and for yourself, for the strength of getting through everything there too. Nick Miller, how are you keeping, Nick? Always good to see you as well. Really, really good to see you too there. Don't think I've left anyone out. No, I don't think I've left anyone out. So what happened to me? As you can see, I'm still as strong and as ugly as a bull. I hope my sound is okay and the picture is okay and it's not hooking too much or anything hectic like that. Yeah, because I never know which server to put it on. So I put it on one and it's like, what would Hendo say? Dodgy. But yeah, so hopefully it doesn't dodge out on us this evening at all. So what happened to me? So yes, last week, well, not the one that's gone by, the week before, we were going to be going on our little break to Shanghai because, as you know, I'm working every single day this holiday, and the holiday's nearly over and I'm still working every single day. So I even was working yesterday, Saturday, and I was working today as well, which is Sunday. So yeah, sound and picture, 5 out of 5. Dylan, big thumbs up to you, buddy. Thank you very, very much. So yeah, so we were getting ready. I did my last class on the Monday, and Ina had a class on Tuesday morning. I think I did one Tuesday morning. I'm not too sure. But anyway, so Tuesday afternoon, we are all getting ready. Angeli, I don't know if I've told you about Angeli before, the Indian lady who used to stay with us in Cambodia, and now she's teaching in Wuxi. She's still a very dear and good friend, and we were looking after her dog, the one that you saw the other day, the other ultra-sized pup called Pi. Anyway, she came through and she was going to take us to Shanghai. So she was here, we booked train tickets, she'd book hotels and everything, the whole toots, when I suddenly started getting a cramp on my stomach on Tuesday afternoon. And it started getting worse and worse and worse. So eventually, as you know me, I don't go to doctors. I end up in emergencies. So that's where I ended up on Tuesday night, at emergencies. and going through the doctors and everything. And I must say, it is super, super efficient, because I ended up in hospital in the end. And right from when I went in to say, hi, I'm here to see a doctor, to seeing a doctor, to getting a CT scan, to getting back to the doctor, to getting in hospital, sitting on a bed in a hospital, took basically, I think, all of 2 hours, and I was in hospital. So super, super efficient. We ended up going to the hospital. You get a number, and then you go and sit, and wasn't even 15 minutes, and we saw a doctor, and then he sent me for a CT scan. So I went for a scan, and they said to me, well, give it 20 minutes, and then the doctor will see you with the result. And it was literally 20 minutes when a little message came to me on my phone, said, doctor will see you now. Saw the doctor, and he said, right, you have an inflamed colon. Great. So he says, we'll have to put you onto antibiotics in hospital. I said, it's not a problem. You just give me the antibiotics. I'll go home. And he said, you don't understand. You can't eat or drink anything. I said, well, I'll only drink water. I'll need to go. And he said, you don't understand. You need to be in hospital. You need to be monitored, and you need to get it through intravenous. I said, but I've got to go to Shanghai tomorrow. Okay, he said, but then you've got to go to a hospital in Shanghai. I said, I don't live there. I live here. I'm coming back on Saturday. He said, you've got to go to hospital. So in the end, I went into hospital. So at 10:30 on Tuesday night, we were sitting cancelling train tickets. We were cancelling hotel bookings. We were going bananas. I was off to go and fetch clothes and everything. And pop, they popped the drip on me. And that's how I stayed for the next 4 nights. Nothing to eat, nothing to drink. And they just changed the drip as soon as the drip emptied, a new one came on. As soon as they emptied, a new one came on. They popped one in here, and eventually they popped one in there. To my absolute underlight, because I do not do well with needles and things like that at all. So there I was. And the problem then arose, all of a sudden they couldn't get my blood pressure down. My blood pressure was just skyrocketing through the roof. And I have been getting terrible, terrible headaches, but they were becoming extreme. I've never experienced the amount of headaches that were just coming. I get headaches daily usually, but this one was going bananas. So they were trying to treat that as well. So by Saturday morning, the doctor says, your head. I said, it's doing okay. But meanwhile, it's like thundering. I couldn't put earphones in my ear. It was so painful. And eventually my stomach had sort of like gone to a light pain, which I was happy to go home with. Andre, there are easier ways to lose weight, but says Endo. I agree, bud. I agree. So yeah, and they put me through an MRI scan there as well, which was not my most favorite experience, because you're stuck in this drum thing for like 20 minutes, and they give you earplugs and they put earphones on you, and I'm like, why? And then you get all the noise inside there, and you realize why they do that. So yeah. Debbie says, Mr. Needle phobic, that's why your blood pressure, probably because I was so damn scared of these blasted needles. Luckily, they didn't change the needle every time they changed the drip. They just plugged in new drips into the same needle, which is cool. It's just the one on my hand eventually became sort of like all over the place, and I preferred it when they put it in my arm. Once again, I must say the nurse was really, really good when she did it, and was excellent. The hospital was absolutely stunning. I was in peasant class, of course, because I can't really afford hospitals right now. So I was in a room with 2 other people. So there's 3 of us in a room. But if you walk further up from the cheap seats and you go to the more posh levels, you'll find that the same size room has 2 beds in it. And then you could have chosen to share just with 1 person and 1 bathroom for the 2. And then if you really shelled out a bit more, you could go further up to like Hollywood style area where you have the same size room where the three of us were in, with only one bed and a desk and a couch in. There were no TVs, but there was Wi-Fi. And I mean, everyone's watching on their pads and their phones and everything. I just couldn't watch. My ears felt like they were bleeding, so I couldn't watch anything while I was there. I just was not a happy camper. But they looked after us like gold. Everything was clean. The toilets didn't pick up vape smoke, so that was good. Because I couldn't go outside, and I was on the 9th floor. And then I'd say to the lady, well, I just want to go outside quickly. She said, no, you need to walk on the floor. You can't go down. So, geez, I really felt like a bird in a cage. And if you know me, I cannot even sit in my apartment for the whole day without at least going outside. So it was rather thrashing. What's hospital is not a Easter holiday location. Would tell me about it. I would far more have been happier in Shanghai. I really would have. But yeah, so eventually on Saturday morning, I was able to go home, but be careful. So I was like on liquids only, and then soup and water and something to drink. I'm like really afraid of getting this shit again. So I've been very cautious, like just fruit and yogurt and stuff like that. Watch movies with subtitle. Hendo, you laugh. These days my ears are so crappy that I tend to watch movies as much as possible with subtitle and end up speed reading the movie. And when I'm finished, I'm thinking, did you see the whole movie? And I'm thinking, no, but I heard everything they said because I got to reading it. Age counts for you, Hendo. Age counts. Naughty, was that your confession for vape? I am not saying if I vaped in the toilets or not. I take the fifth on that. All I'm saying is that the toilets smoke alarm did not pick up vape smoke at all. But anyway, I came out, and by Tuesday I was working again daily throughout. I thought maybe I'll get the weekend or something like that, or just hang in there till weekend, but no, it was back up again. So yesterday I worked, today we work, tomorrow we work. But what was nice is one of the parents of the children that Ina tutors owns a hotel. And she invited Ina and I, well, she invited Ina with her family, which is moi, to go to the hotel for an evening or two. So we agreed on Friday night. And it was beautiful. It's about 30-minute train trip from here, and the bullet train was about 30 minutes to a place called Liang, and it's Chan Li Hotel and Spa. How many kilos did you lose? 3, Hendo, 3. And on a body like that, that's an achievement, dude. A body like this, 3 is a massive achievement. It was 3 or 4 kilos. When I weighed myself in the hotel the next morning, I'd lost 3. So it might have even been more because I did have supper the evening before as well. So yeah, 3, dude, at least 3 or 4, which I'm not unhappy about. But as you have noted so politely, it is not the most fun way of going ahead and losing weight. I did take some video. I slapped it together quickly now, so I hope it's not going to be too long and dreary because I didn't get to edit. I didn't do music or sound. I tried to just shove dissolves in. I literally did it in the last, say, 30, 40 minutes before we started now. And this is a dodgy way to lose kilos. Go to a posh spa. No, that's where you pick them up again, bro. That's where you pick them up. But before I show you, I wanted to show you a little bit of beauty in this world, a little bit of positiveness.
Gosh, this chicken was wearing boots. Noobs lost all her toes due to illness and can no longer walk. The other hens even pecked her mercilessly, but a kind young lady rescued her and took good care of her. She found a pair of puppy boots. Noobs understood immediately. These boots were her new legs. Determined, Noobs began training. Within a week, she was trotting around the yard. Her family couldn't believe her strength. The young lady didn't stop there. Regular veterinary checkups, precise medication, and stylish boots for every occasion followed. Soon Noobs was not only walking, but dodging, running, and darting around like lightning. Today, Noobs has more than 30 pairs of shoes, from sneakers to party heels. She's proof that even if life takes away your toes, it can never take away your ability to run. Does this little animal's strength give you hope?
So be a noobs. If life's taken away your toes, put on your shoes and walk. That I thought was really, really cute. And yes, one very lucky chick. And it's so cute having all the different shoes. Yeah, getting about worried in hospital. Yes, hospital as well, they don't give you food. You can order food on the delivery services and they come and deliver to your bed for you. Or your family, the families usually bring food or anything like that, but there's no food. That doesn't mean that that hospital is substandard at all. That hospital is niche to the par with everything and anything you need. And when you go for your scans and things, it is like that. They said 10:15, you have an MRI. And I thought, I wonder how long I'm going to wait. And I got there at 10 o'clock and at 10:10, they took me in. It was pretty amazing. The nurses are with you all the time. You push a button, a nurse comes, because I had to push the button every time my drip finished off. And or else they'd wake me up to change my drip in the evening because they would come and check on you. So yeah. Endo, Noob's got more shoes than us, special chicken. I think Noobs is competing with my wife. Anyways. Okay, but yeah, nice saying to live by. Be a noob. Yeah, don't be a boob, be a noob. But here's where we went. Give you a little bit of an idea. So this is on the way from the station. We got picked up by the hotel. Being trudged around. And you go into the sort of like nature. It's absolutely beautiful. It's almost, it reminded me of the Eastern Transvaal, the Malanga, where you drive through the forests and everything like that. And then you come, and there's all different spas and resorts around there as well. This one, as I said, was called Chanli. Absolutely, absolutely fantastic people. They treated us like royalty. It was, yeah, there we go, Debbie. Hello, royalty. Here's the check-in and the foyer area. Of course, this is a long one, but I just stuck the whole thing there. This is Ina's. Ina did a walkthrough from the balcony. The balcony was enormous, but take a look at those mountains, and it's so fresh. And you don't want to know the heat, the temperature. I think the camera was melting, but not too bad there though. In the evenings, it starts to cool down a little, not cold, but I do think it was cooler than the city towards the evening, although it was thrashingly hot, I must say, in general. There's even, it's like a little personal pool on your balcony there. We did not think it should be filled up just for one night, so we left that. And yeah, I don't know why she filmed that, but that did not come with the room. That speciality came to the room. But yeah, beautiful. And everything, you see those buttons next to the bed, you push those to close and open the curtains. No curtains are pulled by hand. Nothing there is touched by hand. And this is what they put on. But take a look at that leaf. Look at the picture on the leaf. That's Ina's WeChat photo they took and burnt into that leaf. So yeah. Thanks, Dylan. I'm pretty happy I made it out of hospital too, buddy. I can't get cooped up. What a wonderfully huge bath, but we didn't get to use it, although we were quite convinced that both of us would fit into this one. There's a beautiful spot. This toilet is amazing. Look at all the buttons. It's flush. It's clean forward, clean backwards. Massage your butt. Temperature of the seat. Drying the seat. Flush, sanitize, cover up, cover down. And I was amazed. Watch this. When you walk to the toilet, as you stand in front of the toilet, automatically it opens for you. I was very impressed with this toilet. Can somebody be that? The spas are beautiful. They're little sort of pods with absolute stunning. When they showed it to us, I didn't want to look like somebody who wasn't used to anything and start filming there. So, and we never went to the spa again. So I couldn't get a shot to the spa. Although the general manager is very, very nice chap with the name of Michael. He's Taiwanese, but he's been running the hotel for about a year. That's in the breakfast area. Surprise, Andre didn't receive the toilet. Food was lovely. They had all kinds of food there. Very Chinese. That is the Twilight or the Moonlight Library. This is the lobby area. So yes, thanks Dylan. Yes, we at least got one night of holiday treatment. This is the lobby bar and area there as well. It was absolutely stunning. Yeah, else it was more than a treat. We felt like our butts had landed in the milk or cream. These are the rooms. Everything, now notice everything is round, has the round shapes. That's from the top and the top down. The floors, the different floors. And everything is round, so it has this round shape. You know, you can't get lost. You just keep going around. Henda, I don't know how much it cost. We weren't charged for a single thing. We were not charged for a single thing. Even the mini bar, we grabbed crisps out of there. We grabbed Perrier water and a juice, and we told them, no, this is outside. There's the pool, and then outside they have a grass area with tents and music and everything as well. It's very family orientated, so children can run and play. There's pictures of the hotel. You can see it's all round buildings, and then obviously the villas, which you'll see later, are not round, obviously. This is from the balcony before we went down to the music area. Coming out of the entrance, that's the entrance. But I cannot even tell you what a beer costs, because when we went down there, we went to sit and listen to the music and watch everyone. They've even got little Barbie tents put up for the kids to be underneath. That's the pool. And then like this whole lawn area with live music. And then you can karaoke if you want to. The guy will play music. The little Barbie tents of the children there. We sat up against the side over here. And they just, yes, here's a beer each, what you want to eat. And everything was no charge for us. It was, you know what, they did absolutely. Hello, Fiona, our beautiful lady in waiting. White Zulu, how are you keeping? Always good to see you, Midiri. This is just the outside of the hotel. Of course, stood there for about half an hour watching this and filming this, and had to sort of try and cut it out because I thought, oh, geez, you know what, if I have to show you half an hour of this, but it's absolutely mesmerizing. And that is bringing us to the end of the video. Sorry, I closed the wrong one. So yes, had an awesome time. We were treated royally, I can say. Honestly, Henda, how much it is, I don't know. We said we'll look it up to see if we can maybe go there again and actually support them and book a weekend there or something like that, because it was absolutely stunning. But for our time there, we paid for nothing. Literally, we paid 50 RMB for our train ride there. From there, the hotel picked us up until they dropped us off again. And it was absolutely, absolutely stunning. Fiona, welcome. How are you keeping? Always good to see you, Midiri. Don't forget, guys, go and subscribe to White Zulu's YouTube channel. The link is below. Absolutely beautiful stories read by an absolutely beautiful person. Something I wanted to ask you. Somebody said, and I was reading it, and they said, what makes a person more beautiful to you? What small things makes a person more beautiful? We got at the crypto noob. Welcome. I don't know if I missed somebody. I'd call that a win with the dodgy tummy. Yeah, well, I ate good food. And as I said, there was Western food as well as Chinese food, a lot of Chinese food, obviously. But in the morning, I didn't try anything too dodgy. I just had toast and egg and a croissant and juice. They've got this wonderful coffee machine in the room with pods. So you put a pod in there and then you make your coffee. I don't know why my door is slamming like this. Sorry. I hope it's not making too much sound on the video. But yeah. So don't forget, like and subscribe, people. Like and subscribe. It's the only way that I get my absolute yodeling out there, to sit and chat with you guys and to maybe chat with a few more people. It's lovely, lovely always to chat with you guys and to take a look. I must always remember to look at the chat. Enjoying the last of the summer, Fiona. I hope summer's coming to an end, because right now it doesn't seem like it. It seems like a grill on this side. It seems like an absolute grill, because we're still sitting at about 36, 37 degrees daily. So I don't know, how long is your summer still lasting that side? Colonel Chris Wyatt here in the UK at Women World Cup Rugby. Oh, yes, I saw that he was at the Women's World Cup Rugby. Talking about rugby, thank goodness. I unfortunately missed it, so I had to watch highlights. But, yep, South Africa at least scrappily pulled through a 30-22 win over the Wallabies. Yeah. But at least I'll take the win for that over there. But yes, at least we did not get punched. One of my favorite spots, go Kwagga. I don't like this Nick White at all. And Kwagga did me a favor. Ragdoll Nick. It was so nice. I'm telling you, both my nuts hit the ground simultaneously. Beautiful. Beautiful. You cannot get anything more beautiful than that. But anyway, something else that is near and dear to my heart, that is just ticking the living 10 kinds of nonsense out of me. Not get too thick. Renaldo Gouws. Absolutely outstanding young man with you were talking about what makes people more beautiful, the smile, their heart, the way they treat people, the way they treat animals, the kindness that they show. It's always been very genuine. He's always been an extremely kind person and always made the time even when he does not have the time. And he's been a true good person. I've always enjoyed him very, very much, and I've been fortunate enough to meet him as well. And I can tell you now that that is one genuine man who's had a couple of hard, unfair shots in life, including the shot from News 24 when they were reporting about Elon Musk. But, and in that, they had to take another dig at him. So News 24 has their own little personal vendetta, although they are tripping themselves up phenomenally these days with fake news, false news, and having to throw apologies out. So with this, that they had said Ronaldo called for the killing of black people, he took them to the ombudsman. And the ombudsman then said that they need to apologize to him. This article that they wrote, however, was open to everybody and any cheapskate that wanted to actually catch a pirate read of News 24. Anyone could read that article. But if you take a look at this middle piece here, if you're logged out and you don't have a subscription, when you come to the clarification and apology, Renaldo Gouws did not really mean black people must be killed when he used the K word. It throws you this. Read this for free, be among those who shape the future, and subscribe. Dive into a world of inspiration, learning, and empowerment. Okay. Fortunately, I do have a subscription. I don't know if I should say that proudly or unproudly, but it cost me 10 Rand a month. I got it on some ridiculous special when I was canceling my subscription to them. And they gave it to me for 10 Rand a month, which is less than $1 a month. But I had to put this up here. If you go into that, and I've got to read this, is the most pathetic excuse of a version of an apology that I've ever seen. News 24 clarifies that Gouws directly followed his statement up with, "I didn't mean anything I just said, but I wanted to evoke a response of you." That's what News 24 says. On 25th March, News 24 edition editor-in-chief Adrian Besson published a column titled "Open Letter to Elon Musk," in which he referred to a song sung by Julius Malema and added, tweeted by a man called Renaldo Gouws, who himself called for the killing of black people in a YouTube video 2010. That is true, which he lied about, by the way. Gouws laid a complaint with the Press Council of SA against the column, arguing that the statement was used out of context. True. News 24 clarifies that Gouws directly followed his statement up with, "I didn't mean anything I just said, but I wanted to evoke a response out of you." He didn't say kill black people, so he didn't even have to say that he didn't mean it. But anyway, we apologize that this was not reflected in the column. News 24 reported earlier that on 16 May 2025, the South African Human Rights Commission had issued a statement in which it confirmed that it had settled a complaint against Gouws in relation to the video he published in 2010, which contained racially offensive and harmful language, directed at black South Africans. Incorrect. Once again, they're lying in their statement. He did not direct that at anyone. He made a statement. He did not direct it at anyone. And he wasn't making a statement. He was actually creating an example, metaphorically, if I can put it that way. But once again, incorrectly reported there. In terms of the settlement, Gouws has issued an unconditional apology. Now they're busy telling you that Renaldo apologized. An unconditional apology for the use of his racist and violent language, notwithstanding the statement that he did not mean it. Details of the settlement and apology are available here, so you can click there to see Renaldo's apology. This clarification and apology is published in accordance with the ruling of the Deputy Press Ombud, Franz Kruger. Now I ask you with tears in my baby blue poof-filled eyes, what kind of an apology is that? There was no apology. There was accusations. There was false statements. There was referring to Renaldo's case, referring to him apologizing. There was no apology. That is pathetic. That is absolutely pathetic and unacceptable from a newspaper or a news site that is supposed to be renowned, or a leader, or whatever they want to call themselves. That is the most cowardly statement I've ever seen. Locked behind, by the way, a paywall. So if you didn't pay, you couldn't see what they assumed. You know what? It's absolutely crap. Renaldo's taken over from Dear Neil de Beer time slot on Sunday. I did watch that. Yes, shame, our prayers and thoughts are with Neil. Yes, indeed, our prayers and thoughts are with Neil de Beer. I did watch it. He had a really good talk on Sunday. I did see that as news. I'm still trying not to watch politics too much, although I do, because my blood pressure and headaches. But yeah, that's the information that's behind the paywall. So if you go in behind the paywall, that is all. I have put everything there. I haven't even edited it. I've put everything there. Not edited. That's it. They've got accusation after accusation after false statement after false statement after, see this as an apology, which is the biggest load, I'm sorry to say, bullshit painted against a very good man. And I am going to be one of the first to stand up and say we cannot tolerate people being treated like this, especially good people, because they stand up and tell the truth against naysayers, liars, false news advocates, like people, Adrian Besson, who hides behind a News 24 banner, which is a government mouthpiece and false news driven. Cowards, yes, I agree, absolutely cowards. Locked behind a paywall, and if you manage to take the money out, which you shouldn't, to get behind that paywall, it's the most pathetic, cowardly statement. I wouldn't say it's an apology. There is no apology there. It's a pathetic excuse to slander more. You know, the only reason as I say, I keep it there is, and usually subconsciously, because it's less than $1. I don't really see it going off every month. So, yeah. And then we have multiple arrests and illegal firearms seized in Cape Town. Police in Cape Town have arrested several suspects in separate operations across the city. Police spokesman FC van Wyk says officers in Durbanville confiscated 4 firearms and arrested 3 men for the unlawful possession of firearms, ammunition, and drugs. But they want to take the country's firearms away from them. You know, I agree that a gun-free country is utopia. It's beautiful. I mean, I live in a gun-free country at the moment, and it is the safest, most wonderful country that you can live in. But you cannot have a gun-free country in a lawless country like South Africa. Absolutely ridiculous. Then the NWHC CEO contract was extended. Mogadiri was appointed as the CEO in August in 2020 and has been lashed at by different political parties in the province for his controversial smart and mega city 74.3 billion project plan. I don't know if you've seen any mega cities or smart cities at all, but this is like over 2 years ago. The bone of the contention was that the 2-year contract extension was of the 2-year contract extension for Mogadiri. So CEO achieves nothing with a 74.3 billion project, and his contract's extended. The extension comes amidst the portfolio committee's call for the suspension of the CEO and a halt of all mega cities and smart city projects. After a failed 250,000 Rand event at a Lakaleng village outside Mahikeng. I didn't even know they'd sort of attempted it, by the way. And allegations that entity was pushing forward with development on disputed land. So another problem. So you're starting a mega city or a city, what's the other, smart city on disputed land, which you can't even get off the ground. Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Human Settlements, Kahalalelo Makakwa, and Democratic Alliance DA member of the legislature, CJ Stale, voiced their concerns. Yeah, I do see more than you, Debbie. It's amazing once you get from the outside looking in. I wish you guys could see more of China, because China, I think, in general, gets a bad deal. I'm not saying they're without fault, but I think they get a very bad deal when it comes to publicity and what their country is really run like. It is probably one of the most efficiently run countries with an amazing infrastructure. Yeah. Some BMW had about 30 bullet holes in yesterday from a hit. Is still in the wild, wild west here. Yeah. How do they not pick up that misappropriation of money? Just slays me. Yep. Was in finance. I saw staggering figures on development for smart cities, says Alts, and malls that were funded and never came. Yeah, well, motorist fatally shot in the N1 near to Louis Trichardt. Police say a motorist traveling with 2 other people had a breakdown near Rondebosch plot. An unknown motorist also stopped and opened fire. The driver tried to run away, but was hit in the head and upper body. He died on the scene. The whereabouts of the occupants remain unknown. Let's take a look here. Oh, not forgetting our faithful friends. Okay, not getting our faithful friends who actually go deeper into the news and analysis and breaking news always brought to you as well. Don't forget to watch Chris Wyatt, Renaldo Gouws, and Joe Emilio. They are really your own team of news if you're wanting to. And then there's also Morningshot I haven't put into there yet as well. So I'll have to work him around there sometime as well. I'll have to ask, what's his name, Cameron? I'm not too sure what's his name now. But I'll have to ask him to do blackface with the Mohican so I can make him PA or something like that. But yeah, don't forget, the links are in the description below. Go and catch them. There are a couple of other links as well. Don't forget to go and subscribe to White Zulu, her book on YouTube being read by the beautiful and absolutely elegant lady herself. It is an absolute treat. Don't forget that as well. Yeah, 18 was great. Let's move on from the 18 now. Taxi drivers. The buggers are at it again. Taxi drivers and taxi bosses are now working like traffic officers. That is ridiculous. And I've been talking about it the whole week. They park about 10 taxis, stop people who are driving with passengers. They're basically saying your kids must use taxis to get to school, not your own car, and your family should also use taxis for personal trips instead of your car. Next, they want people to stop using buses, trains, and only stick to taxis, as instructed by Faraday and Qatar Taxi Association. I know I saw a picture of a Uber driver or rental car, a car hire person who was burnt alive in his car by these animals, and they are stopping cars and wanting to damage cars every time they find that there's more than one passenger in a car. They are absolutely ridiculous beasts, savages, if I can put it that way. Absolutely savages. Alt says, yeah, let's put that up. Alt said, Byron, thanks, Dylan. I don't know why I said it wrong way. Thanks, Dylan. Byron, that's it, Byron. Alt also says, remember Potshot with Renaldo and Byron on Wednesdays as well. And Debbie says, their timing is awful, but glad they finally came. Hopefully they resolve and expedite things. Dylan says, conflict stupid without lead pills. Once I say gun free, where do we go from there? Also, the ANC support is crashing 30%, below 30% as DA overtakes in key metros, new poll. Now, I don't know if that's good news or bad news because the DA is unfortunately a spineless jellyfish who are really, really pathetic. They speak more than what they do. They are doing nothing. They are doing absolutely nothing. The DA polling shows ANC lost 11 percentage points nationally since last year's general election. Johannesburg Mayor Dada Morero faces internal criticism, while DA's Helen Zille prepares mayoral campaign in city. ANC relegated to the third place in Equitini behind the DA and the MK party after losing 28 percentage points in the 2021. So obviously we're going to have the municipal elections next year, and I don't know, you know what? I don't know. You know what, people call for the fact that we need to get rid of this pathetic turd of a president. But who are we going to put there? I mean, Johnny Outhouse can't do anything about it. He's really just a pathetic little jellyfish. And then who else is going to, this is my worry, who else is going to do that? I mean, Helen Zille prepares mayoral campaign in city. I mean, she is too old to freaking run a lawnmower, never mind a city anymore. Get some young blood in there. What about this Papas guy? He got things moving in Howick, if I'm not mistaken. So really, unfortunately, the government in general, even for succession, is looking pretty bleak. But yeah, the most expensive vehicle to operate in 2025 is, you guessed it, the food trolley. It's absolutely ridiculous. White Zulu, yeah, Dylan, I love that. Put it up there. Delusional alliance, definitely. I mean, who do we vote for these days? Who can take our country further? I mean, you don't want to go MK, you don't want to go ANC because they're all pathetic, and MK and ANC will kill each other. They can't get together. What's his name? Action Essays is a racist as hell. I mean, I listened to old Ramaphosa the other day. Ask yourself why a black child wakes up with less prosperity and a white child wakes up with more prosperity. Where do you come? Ask yourself. It's like your job to do, but you've got to ask yourself. Ridiculous. But anyway, see the new Checkers Smart Trolley takes payments to avoid tills. Now, if you want to see more on that, catch Renaldo's video on it. He actually has a good chuckle in it, and I must laugh as well. Because it has a little pad in the front here. And this is why I said this is the most expensive thing to travel to have these days. It has a little pad at the front there where you scan everything yourself and put it into your trolley. And then when you're finished, you just hit pay and put in your card details and you pay and you go. It will not work in South Africa. I will bet you my year's salary on that. Funnily enough, it works in China. Let me tell you that. You have self-checkout. I walk at, and I'm talking about big places like Sam's Club, Walmart, right down to the smaller, like Hippo supermarket and that. Most of these places got self-checkout. And I remember the first time I went there, I think it was at IKEA. I was horrified to find these self-checkout things. So I went and you scan your phone code and you start scanning the items. If you take a bag, you scan the bag and you scan every one of your items and you pack it in the bag. I was absolutely paranoid to get a receipt because I was sure security at the door, where I'm used to, like at Macro, and them check your parcel to your slip. Not a parcel check, not a slip check. Everybody goes and does what they need to do. I was looking at the hotel as well. When they, on that outside area, they have like a bar and they've got all like drinks and beers and everything packed out there. And nobody's walking around with this checklist going, there's so many sold, there's so many, you know what, you pay for it, you scan your phone or whatever, and you get it and you go, you get it and you go. These people, you know what, sometimes to detriment, however, have such a strong save face, do not want to be embarrassed, that they will not be dishonest. I mean, we get parcels delivered to our hotel lobby, to our apartment lobby, because you need a card to scan the lift to come up to our floor. And no one's running up 31 stairs, I'm telling you that now. But they leave parcels downstairs. We leave it for the day. Sometimes we'll only fetch it tomorrow. Food comes there, groceries come there. They leave it. If I'm busy this morning, or maybe they drop my groceries off and I'm at work, I'll pick it up when I get home. Nobody touches it. I'm telling you, Alt says America does that as well in most stores. That's great. I hope they have honesty there, because South Africa is not going to get that done. Dylan, you're right. You know what? Strangely, you are right. China is ahead of the game. And I think big Western countries are afraid to let that come out of the bag. Hence the reason media needs to keep it down. And as I said, once again, I do not say that China is without fault. I do not say that they're without their fault at all. But far, far forward to what you can expect it to be. Definitely far more forward than what you can expect it to be. High tech, you talk about car emissions, half, if not more than half, I'd say 75% to 80% of the vehicles here are electric. All the motorcycles are electric. The scooters and that are electric. Yes, you can argue that it costs more to make it, or it costs a lot of, to make it, but that keeps your cities clean. And I know that everyone's argued that the air pollution in China is terrible. And sometimes the air quality is not great. But most of the time, we've had absolutely perfect air quality. The amount of parks and greenery and nature in this place is second to none. And sometimes I must admit that Johannesburg seems to have a worse air content than what I have in Nanjing. So, yeah, no, as I say, Watsulu, if you've taken a look at media, you would have that same feeling. I am absolutely wide-eyed when I say to you the experience and what people actually say and do about it on media. It's an absolute total different experience. It's the only place that my wife will go out at 9:30 at night by herself, walk up the street to a chemist, buy medication, and come back again without twitching or worrying about anything. Dylan says, in SA, we can pay a bag and steal the items we don't scan. I tell you what, you're so worried about it. Yeah, I mean, we're like, did we scan the Coke? Did we scan that little tin over there? You know what? You're actually concerned about the fact that you haven't scanned anything. You'd rather scan another packet in case you didn't scan all your packets, but you can see it. It comes up in front of you. So you can look and see, did I scan it? Didn't I scan it? I just, you know what? In a lawful country, and I can agree, it probably works in the US as well, and I'm sure it's something like that in the UK, but definitely not in South Africa, not under lawlessness. Let's take a look at something else. Oversubscribed parents battle for grade 8 places at Western Cape schools. Now, the Portfolio Committee on Basic Education has asked the Western Cape Education Department to provide demographic profiles of the 11,341 applicants who lodged appeals during admission process. This is 11,000 students who don't have place to go. That's grade R, grade 1, and grade 8. Rustenburg Girls High, which received 1,300 applications for 180 spots, can only accommodate 6 classes of 30 pupils each in grade 8. Hence the reason we're overcrowding our classrooms to 40 pupils and plus. The department has said that the schools determine their admission policies and apply them to applications. Now people have complained that you need to have a high grade, or you need to have high grades in English or overall, etc., etc. Well, then don't make the pass rate a pathetic 30%, number one. And number two, once again, this is why I said demographics are necessary, because you need to know where people are who are going to school. If the school is supposed to be in your area, then obviously the people, I mean, there's a lady who stays 2 kilometers away from, I think it's a school in Cape Town, a girls' school in Cape Town, and her daughter cannot go to the school because it is oversubscribed. Now, you've got 11,000 of them out there, and they don't want to go to the schools that are closest to them. So, you know, I don't get it. Not going to go on about it. But here's a little bit of fun, just to break the noise.
When I'm with you, baby, I go on my end. I just can't get enough. I just can't get enough. All the things you do to me and everything you say, I just can't get enough. I just can't get enough. We slip and slide as we fall in love, and I just can't seem to get enough. Ah!
So next time I'm in the kitchen, don't ask me what I'm doing. Starting a band, baby. Starting a band. Yes, also they pushed hundreds and thousands of people from the Eastern Cape to the Western Cape, and now. Yeah, how's that for being a little inventive to actually make life just look a little bit more? So if you're not putting chickens on your shoes, you can always use your fridge as a bass drum. I'm sure your mother's not going to complain. But yeah, talking about complaints, Judge grants Mbalula a gag order against Anel Munda after defamatory false tweets. Why does he get this? Northwest businessman Wandile Bozwana was killed in a hail of bullets in 2015. Last year, notorious taxi boss Vusi Keke Matibela and his 3 co-accused were each sentenced to 30 years in prison for murder. ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula has won an urgent court appeal to force Anele Munda to take down posts he says falsely link him to the killing. Now, I've just taken 2 pieces out there. If you want the full pieces to all these news things that I've got, the links are all below. I haven't put them in there yet. I have all the links. I'll have them all below very soon. In her first disputed tweet to Mbalula, Nda posted, "Wena Botswana, basically, your name shows up, appears, is implicated in Botswana's murder. The question still stands. What were you doing in Sandton with the guys who were driving the car that followed Wandile Botswana and whose occupants shot and instantly killed Botswana in 2015 around Menlyn? Or Sitsele Loko, I don't know what also, but it's basically translated. You don't tell us that. Even you were supposed to be in jail or jailed." And then again, after her first tweet about Botswana's murder, Nda later posted, "Imagine doubting what Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi said because Fikile Mbalula cast doubt on him. Mbalula has not yet explained why was he seen in Sandton with the occupants of the car that followed Wandile Botswana, who was then shot and killed at Menlyn in 2015. The rest is done, yeah. But Mbalula, yeah. Mr. Fix, nothing. Northern Cape Municipality was ordered to pay 162,000 each to workers fired after 1 day on the job. So yes, basically, I think it was 6 workers, if I'm not mistaken. They applied for positions and woe and behold, they got the positions as general assistants. So it's not like phenomenal work. If you take 162 divided by 12, it's not a fantastic salary, but it is a salary. And they reported they were told to report for work on the 1st, and upon their arrival, they were told to wait for their personal protection equipment. They didn't do any work at the first day. On the 1st of July 2025, they were told that they would be informed when they should come for induction. Later, after knocking off, they received calls informing them that they must report for work on the 2nd of July at 7:30. Upon arrival, they were served with letters indicating withdrawal of appointment letters, and the letters further indicated that an error was made when shortlisted names were printed, hence the withdrawal of the order. So all of a sudden, you go through everything, application, the whole lot, and then you get appointed, you come to work, you work. Well, you don't work for 1 day because you're waiting for induction and safety equipment and everything to that effect, to arrive at work the next day to get a withdrawal to say there was an error. It's a mistake. I'm sorry, you no longer have work. Okay, it doesn't matter where you've traveled from. Also, she submitted that there was a re-advertisement of the same positions by the employer on the 2nd of July 2025. The only difference was that their positions were advertised as external positions, and this time they were advertised as internal positions, which once again gives me the cadre idea. Hey, my brother needs a job. My friend here needs a job. Well, hang on, we got 6 people from outside that we employed. Let's cut them loose and then employ your friends. Seeing as we don't have work anyway, and we don't work anyway, they can just get paid. And these 6 went to CCMA. They admitted that that was a mistake. They didn't even show up for mediation, and they've all 6 been allocated each 162,000 as a year's salary each. So for the next 6 that they now employ, which they've advertised for internally, they will now need to pay another 162,000. But of course, it's government pay, it's government work, it's the taxpayers, you and I, that pay this money. So they're now paying for 12 people, of which only 6 are employed and work. That's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, Buzzy, no, go and take care. Thank you very, very much for everything. Hey? And then, of course, and I think this was on the Pepper's Echo page, we've made it into the Oxford Dictionary officially. Do you feel hurtful? Hurtful is officially word of the day, 14th of the 8th, 2025. It is an adjective, and it means South African slang, having had enough of a person or situation, extremely annoyed, unhappy, or bored, especially with a state of affairs that has persisted for a long time, completely fed up. Sounds like hotful ANC. Bloody Western Cape weekend, 10 killed in shooting and stabbing. It's another busy weekend for Cape Town police. Of the bodies of 10 people were found in various parts of the city following violent attacks, prompting police to increase visibility to restore calm, which once again I believe is a mislead. I'm going with a pepper ticker. This is definitely not the first time this happened. Yep. And then there's a Katie Molefe hijacked a multi-billion rand airport development. Now, I'm not going to hang on to all of these things over here. You can pause it or you can go to the links below, which I'll be putting in. But basically, he is in jail asking for bail because his Sebastian Investments and Logistics was registered 2 days after the tender was advertised. Yet he was awarded 350 billion rand project. Now, first of all, you check, and he supplied a C9 certificate, which means that they have completed and done exemplary work and have experience in this work. However, the company was only registered 2 days after the tender was put out. So I don't know how they get that. King Michael's was initially the winner and had 198 billion in investment commitments before the municipality took it away and then gave it to Molele's company. 3 senior ANC cabinet ministers alleged to be implicated in the corruption surrounded the controversial tender award. This week, Molefe appeared. Now, this is the guy that got the tender. This is the person who doesn't even have a company that's older than the tender was out. This week, he appeared in the Alexander Magistrates Court to apply for bail in his murder case involving the murder of Opa John Sefoka and Hector Buthelezi, known as DJ Somebody and DJ Vintus, respectively. Molefe was arrested last year in connection with the murder of Vaal engineer Armand Swart. He was denied bail by the Verenigde Magistrates Court, but our justice system was kind enough to overturn it by the High Court in Pretoria in June. City Press sister publication News 24 reported that Molefe wanted the court to release him on bail, citing that he was working on big business development in Welkom and incarceration would substantially affect his business activities. So it's okay. You can murder people because if you need to carry on with your business and don't want to be hindered by it, you apply for bail for that. Welkom is the core of the Majabeng municipality. Absolutely, absolutely shameless. Shameless. Don't forget, don't be shameful and don't subscribe and don't ring that bell. Subscribe and ring that bell. Let it be known all over the place. Subscribe and ring the bell. And don't forget to give me a like as well. We always forget to like these things. Yeah, getting away with murder. But anyway, talk about getting away with things. A driver faces $110,000 in fine speeding on the Swiss street, but he can't afford it. The driver was clocking 27 kilometers per hour in a 17 mile per hour or 17 miles per hour over the speed limit on a street in Swiss city of Lucerne. And now he's facing up to 90,000 Swiss francs. What we want to know is, should there be a sliding scale for speeding tickets based on your income? So if you're somebody who earns 100,000 a month, should you have higher speeding tickets? Whereas somebody who earns 10,000 a month can't afford, and the person who earns 100,000 a month finds 1,000 rand fine like buying a chappie or sweetie, candy. But a person who earns 10,000 rand a month finds having a fine of 1,000 rand life-altering for them. So the poll went up. So it's my Yahoo poll time. Should there be a sliding scale for speeding tickets on income? An amazing amount of 325 said yes, 162 said no, and 68 were unsure. What say you, in the immortal words of Chris Wyatt, Mzansi? No, rules are rules, follow them. Yeah, well, I think the best, I agree with what Debbie says. You know what? If you don't want to get a fine, then don't speed. You know, if it's going to be such a life-altering thing, then don't speed at such a life-altering speed. Another one, another poll. When should you brush your teeth? Dentists reveal the right time to brush your teeth in the morning, and it's not when you think. Should you brush your teeth before or after breakfast? And they say both dentists we talked to agreed that if you only brush once in the morning, it's best to do it right after you wake up, before you have anything to eat. Notably, if we went on, the little piece will be in the bottom link as well. If you go on, you will see that it's not a bad idea to brush afterwards, but you should also, after you wake up and brush your teeth, half an hour before eating. Because first of all, apparently you don't provide enough spit in your mouth, so it actually gets all the plaque and that cleaned off, puts a protective layer over your teeth and gums and everything like that, so you can snap away at the day. Ideally, you should brush in the morning and the evening, but after lunchtime is not a bad idea. Putting on the poll, when in the morning you're all brushing your teeth, 479 said before breakfast. Yeah, usually it's in the shower. When you're just like waking up, you shove this brush into your mouth just to keep the old ivories tinkling as well. 298, however, said after breakfast. 176 said I don't eat breakfast, but right after I wake up. So I'll add that to the 479. And 67 said I don't brush in the morning. I would hate to smell your breath. White Zulu, I would love a chappie right now. Remember the chappie papers always used to have interesting things. Labubu Dolls, these are the biggest craze that are out at the moment. Funnily enough, they come from China, but they're all over the world. They now fashion tiniest and trendiest muses. Created in 2015 by Hong Kong artist Kassing Lung, Labubu are the fuzzy elf toys from the Chinese brand Pop Mart. Now, Pop Mart are like little shops that you can buy all these kinds of little dolls and figurines and things and that. And actually, Labubus are little monsters. But I even went in the other day to actually see, and I said, you know, Labubus, and they're like, sorry, we sold out. We sold out. They cannot keep up with them. So after a K-pop superstar Lisa started wearing them on her designer handbags in 2024, the toys became baubles displayed like precious gems on purses and backpacks worldwide. They are handbag charms, they are dolls, and they actually sell mystery boxes of them. And if you get a certain Labubu in a mystery box, it can be worth like almost $100,000. And people are like trying to find the right one. So sometimes people buy 3, 4, 5 mystery boxes at a time, and they're not cheap. They're about 100 RMB, from not 100, 120 RMB. Yeah, Alts, they look like weird hojas, I agree with you. And they're actually like little monsters. But as you can see, there's a lady in LA, if I'm not mistaken, that has created a fashion series for them. So now you can dress them up and they've got their own fashion. As you can see, there's a Louis Vuitton, there's t-shirts. There's even one that's got their own Wednesday fashion over there, if you can take a look up there as well. So then the poll went up and said, do you think Labubus are cute? 99 said yes. An overwhelming 599 said no. And 100 said neither, maybe a secret third thing. But yeah, they are absolutely, absolutely crazy. Yep, chappies, no idea why this crazy. Yeah, no, absolutely, it's a huge craze, huge, huge craze. Sold out here, and I thought, oh, well, it's here, but it is all over the world, especially the States. Anybody who's anybody has got something to do with Labubu. And then 50 ways to eat your eggs. How do you eat your eggs? 51 scrambled, 70 boiled, 102 scrambled soft, sunny side up was 67, over easy 22, sows vide, I don't know what that is, 5, deviled 11, omelette 176, other 44, and I don't eat eggs are 77. So out of the egg eaters, the most eaten way, or way that an egg is eaten, is an omelette followed by a scrambled soft. I like an over easy, which only 22 people went for. Sunny side up is a little too runny. Boiled, yeah, it's nice to be able to take along with you, but yeah, a good fried egg, nothing can beat a good fried egg. something to ponder as we go along.
A man forgot to put his phone on silent, and it rang so loud in the church during preaching. The pastor scolded him. The worshipers admonished him after the sermon for interrupting. His wife kept on lecturing on his carelessness all the way home. His friends and acquaintances shook their heads in disgust. You could see the shame, embarrassment, and humiliation on his face. He never stepped foot in the church again after the service that Sunday. That evening he went to a bar. He was still nervous and trembling. He spilled his drink on the table. The bottle fell by accident and it splashed on some people. Those it touched rushed towards him. He closed his eyes expecting a bashing of words or slaps. Instead, they cared to know if he did get a cut from the broken bottle. The waiter apologized and gave him a napkin to clean himself. The janitor mopped the floor. The female manager offered him a complimentary drink. She also gave him a huge hug and a peck while saying, "Don't worry, man, who doesn't make mistakes?" He has not stopped going to that bar since then. Sometimes our attitude as believers drives souls to hell. We can make a difference by how we treat people, especially when they make mistakes.
Yep, so sometimes we chase away the people that we need to keep. You know, when you're sitting in church, you're quick to judge and slow to forgive, and the bar forgives and slow to judge. So where you rather be? I've run over time, but anyway, let me finish with what's on at the movies. Bam, bam, wham, balam. 2 movies I watched this week. I watched You Cordially Invited with Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon. I'm not a Will Ferrell fan. It was okay. Basically, 2 families double book at a venue for a wedding and how they eventually sort through it. So a little bit of fun, a little bit of laughter, a good little bit of tinge in the heart and looking at things and that. But as you can see on Rotten Tomatoes, the tomato meter put a 48% on it, reviews, and the popcorn meter, which is the audience, put a 33% on it. Not very fantastic. But talking about fantastic, I did get to see the Fantastic Four: First Steps. It was okay for me. I'd probably rate it amongst about a 70%. I wouldn't go as high as the 91% that the popcorn meter has put it on, and the tomato meter has put it on 87%. It was very nice that they didn't try and make an origin story, and the origin story was there already. So basically, and they placed it into, I think it's like the 70s or something like that, which was like the original time that Fantastic Four did come out. So, and it was also something in the world. They didn't go to another world or something to that effect as well. Although they did do a little bit of space stuff or whatever, they did come back down to Earth. So, it's worth the watch. If you're like really bored and want to fall asleep, you can watch Quarterly Invited, but I would give Fantastic Four a watch. It's not bad at all. Moving on to series, Debbie, you'll be proud of me. We eventually got to watch Untamed. Absolutely marvelous. Absolutely fantastic, phenomenal. More loose ends than afraid not going through there. Everything gets tied up in the end, but an amazing story, kept us riveted. I think we took a day, not even a day, but I mean, we went through them all at once. Average on the tomato meter is 82%, and the popcorn meter for the audience is 70%. Really, really good. Enjoyed it thoroughly. Another one is my old favorite. You either like him or you don't. Dexter. Dexter Resurrection. You think he's dead and he comes back. He just keeps coming back again. Dexter Resurrection. He's alive and killing it, and I can definitely say he killed it in this one too. 94% on the average tomato meter, 86% on the popcorn meter. As I said, those are definitely from people who enjoy the show very, very much. I do. I've always loved Dexter. And if you love Dexter, you're going to enjoy his resurrection. And it is really good to see that it left it open for more to come along as well. But definitely I can, Netflix is Untamed, Dexter is on Paramount. But Untamed, if you haven't watched it yet, I will definitely suggest that you give it a watch. It is amazing and riveted. I think it's got Sam Neill in as well. So really good. Well played out, story well done. It twists and turns like a roller coaster. You won't believe it. Really, really enjoyed it very, very much. Then down to the book I've read. I've actually read 3 books. Granted, they haven't been phenomenal. It's a Harry Potter. It was Sunrise on the Reaping, and one that is very, very short book, but that has a lot of meaning to it for me and made a heck of a lot of sense, is a book by John A. Chubak, but what's his name? Carlson guy as well, but I think Carlson did Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. But anyway, if you've ever read the book, Who Moved My Cheese? Very, very good book. Also a nice short book, also telling you about what you find in life may dry up and how to explore life in a, how should I say, in a more brave way, going out there, not fearing the unknown. But Make Your Own Damn Cheese is brilliant, and it's understanding and navigating and mastering 3 mazes of success. And I can give it to you this way, that a mouse is unhappy with himself in this maze, and he feels that he has this maze inside him that is also so confusing. So he decides he needs to burrow out of this maze. Obviously, mouse being based on, what's the name? Also, if you enjoyed Who Moved My Cheese, you're going to love Make Your Own Damn Cheese. Now, he decides to burrow out of the maze, and he feels that if he gets out of his maze, the inside of him will be fine. We'll get sorted out until he gets to, first of all, meet these 4 wise old mice, who then get to explain to him, but you need to read the whole book, explain to him that the maze outside is never ending, because he keeps on burrowing and burrowing and burrowing, and he keeps on coming back up in the maze, keeps on coming back up in the maze, and he's burrowing and burrowing and burrowing. And then they tell him, the maze outside is never ending. It doesn't end. Outside will always be there. It's your reality. Reality does not end. The maze inside is what you bring into you. So Debbie, it's something that you would be interested in as well, because it is also what you perceive and what you pull in your mind. They actually divide the mind into 3s, your superconscious, your conscious, and your subconscious. And it's also basically based on what you put into your conscious filters down into like a garden of your subconscious, and your subconscious is happy to take any seed and grow it. And how difficult it is after spending so many years, or how long you've spent programming yourself, to now try and change it. But read the book. It is really worth it. Also, if you enjoyed Who Moved My Cheese, which was simple yet so effective and so well placed through. And what I enjoy about this book is there is no big jargon and difficult things to try and get around. It's basically looking at how you change the maze inside you by how you change what you take in from the maze outside of you. And then obviously how to change what you take in. And that is, as I said, very simple, very short, but so effective. If you've read Who Moved My Cheese, I would definitely suggest this for you. It's something that I highly recommend. However, we have come to the end of the show. I have held you on far too long. I will leave you with this one. The past is a place to learn from, not to live in. White Zulu says, I'm watching a documentary on aliens and loving it. I watched Aliens the first time, but it wasn't for the aliens. It was for Sigourney Weaver. Now she's old. Also, yes, definitely give it a read. Guys, thank you so very much again for all your support, all your love, all your care. What can I say? I smaak you all stuk in toe. Said in a real South African way. But yes, it's been an absolute privilege. I thank you so very much for coming on, for listening, for being a part of the show, and for listening, for droning on with me. Please give me feedback. Let me know if there's things that I should cut out. Maybe I spend too much time on certain things. Maybe there's things that you would like to hear about that we don't talk about. Maybe there's things that we should talk about, but not too much, that we do talk about, but too little. Definitely, you know what? I can take all ideas. I'm strong as a bull, hard as, I don't want to go as a rock, but yeah, that sounds too, no, yeah. But otherwise, my friends, my beautiful people, my wonderful, awesome buddies out there, It has been an absolute privilege and a pleasure once again this week. Thank you for sticking it out. Thank you for giving me the week last week as well. I really do appreciate it. Put on your boots, be a noob, take life by the booties. Thank you. Take care. Be good. Be kind. And if you can't be good, at least be kind.